maybe it seems like I shouldn't even have to say this, but fundamentally, I believe as a starting point, as a baseline, as a foundation, we need to care about our partner's well-being and how they're doing and if they're unhappy or if they're sad or if they're upset about something. It doesn't mean we have to agree with them. So the way this comes up a lot is when I'm teaching people communication skills and first understanding, and I've talked about this in other places, understanding that our brain filters what even makes it through to our awareness, what we notice, what we pay attention to, especially what we key in on, and our brain interprets this stuff. We make meaning of it. And nothing about that is inherently true, you know? And that's a hard thing for people to swallow sometimes because it seems really true. It seems super obvious to us what is happening. But it's the way our brain has learned to interpret things. Someone else could take the exact same situation and interpret it differently. So there's no black and white, right or wrong here. It's about each person is living in an experience and an interpretation of things that then generates an emotional reaction. So we're having feelings about it. And it's so important to understand that the two of you are going to do this differently. You're going to have different filters, and your brain's going to make different interpretations. And the point is not to argue about who is right, because it's not like that. I mean, I can't even think of an example. Maybe there's an example where somebody's right. If video camera would capture this thing, then you could say it happened, but you still couldn't say what the intention was, right? So the point as I teach people communication is to climb into each other's movies, climb into each other's perspectives and experiences, just to understand it, not to agree. Doesn't mean you agree with it. It doesn't mean you're stipulating to anything. You don't have to argue over the facts or what happened. You just climb in and understand. And to do that, you got to have, well, I guess you got to have three things. First of all, you've got to have this understanding that your interpretation is not inherently true or accurate, right? So there's got to be a little bit of skepticism, or what's a better word? Awareness, I guess, just that this is what our brains are doing. So let me loosen my hold on what I think happened. So that's the first thing. Second thing is we got to care about our partner, that they're unhappy. Even if they're, I don't want to say like, even if they're crazy, even if their interpretation is so filtered and warped that it's made it so far from what you meant or what you think happened, whatever, you still, I believe, need to care that they're struggling. And then we got to have curiosity. We've got to want to understand what's going on for them, how they see it, where their brain went, what the meaning is they're making of it, like how they've landed where they've gotten. Because if we can have that care and curiosity, first of all, they're going to feel supported and heard and seen, and they're going to calm down. They're going to, oh, relax, you get it, right? Now, this is a two-way street. They also need to care and be curious about how you see this thing and what's going on for you, and be open to again, that skepticism or that awareness that their story also is not true, right? So this is so foundational. So I was talking to this family member, and her partner doesn't care and isn't open to any idea that his perspective could be wrong or filtered or nuanced, and that no curiosity about what's going on for her. So this is a problem, and I can say that to my family member pretty directly. I suppose I even say it to clients. I'm definitely saying it to you. It is a problem if you can't care about your partner's experience and if they can't care about yours. Bridging these gaps in understanding and how we each see these things, it gets easier when you have that care and curiosity and can understand what's happening for both people. Then there's ways to put this together and to repair from there.